History is filled with tales of immense fortunes, but one story stands above them all. A story of a king so wealthy, his generosity literally broke the world's economy. This is the story of Mansa Musa, the Golden King of Mali, a man richer than anyone could possibly describe, whose legendary pilgrimage was so lavish it single-handedly crashed the global economy. Our story begins in the early 14th century. The Mali Empire, located in modern-day Mali, was a powerhouse. It wasn't just big, it was the largest gold producer in the world. At a time when Europe was struggling through famine and conflict, Mali was flourishing, a center of trade, culture, and learning. And at its helm was Mansa Musa, who came to power around 1312. Musa wasn't born to be emperor. He was actually appointed as a deputy by the previous ruler, who set off on an expedition to explore the limits of the Atlantic Ocean and never returned. So Musa stepped up. Under his rule, the empire expanded dramatically, stretching for about 2,000 miles from the Atlantic coast to the inland city of Timbuktu. He controlled vital trade routes that transported gold, salt, and other goods across the Sahara Desert. While his wealth was already immense, it was his religious devotion that would cement his name in history. As a devout Muslim, Musa decided to undertake the Hajj, the sacred pilgrimage to Mecca, in 1324. But this was no ordinary journey. This was a statement, a declaration to the world of the Mali Empire's power and piety. Musa's caravan was a sight to behold. Imagine a moving city of gold. Historical accounts describe a procession of 60,000 men, including 12,000 personal attendants, all dressed in the finest silks. There were soldiers, entertainers, merchants, and a royal entourage that stretched as far as the eye could see. And then there were the camels, 80 to 100 camels, each carrying up to 300 pounds of pure gold dust. The people marching ahead of Musa carried golden staffs, and even his attendants were adorned with gold. As this magnificent procession traveled across Africa and the Middle East, Musa was incredibly generous. He was known for handing out gold to the poor he met along his route. He donated to mosques, funded the construction of new ones, and bought souvenirs at every stop. His generosity was legendary. When he arrived in Cairo, Egypt, he gave away so much gold that its value plummeted. He literally flooded the market. Think about that for a second. One man gave away so much gold that he destabilized the economy of an entire region. It took over a decade for the price of gold in Cairo to recover. He effectively caused an inflation crisis that lasted for years. This act of charity, or perhaps ostentatious display, had an unprecedented economic impact. It also put Mali and Mansa Musa firmly on the map. European cartographers, hearing tales of this golden king, began to feature him on their maps. One famous 1375 map, the Catalan Atlas, depicts a crowned African king holding a golden nugget, with the caption identifying him as Mansa Musa, the Lord of the Gold of Guinea. The journey to Mecca and back took over a year, but the effects of his pilgrimage were just beginning. On his way home, Musa realized the economic chaos he had caused in places like Cairo. In a fascinating turn of events, he tried to fix the problem he created. He borrowed back all the gold he could from the moneylenders in Cairo at an exorbitant interest rate. This was the first and possibly only time in history that one man single-handedly manipulated the price of gold across the Mediterranean. But Musa's story isn't just about gold. His pilgrimage brought back something far more valuable in the long run: knowledge. He returned to Mali with scholars, architects, and artists from across the Islamic world. He was determined to turn his empire into a leading center of learning and culture. His primary focus became the city of Timbuktu. Under his patronage, Timbuktu was transformed from a simple trading post into a world-renowned center of Islamic scholarship and art. He commissioned the construction of the legendary Jinguereba Mosque, which still stands today. He also founded the University of Sankore, which became one of the most important intellectual hubs in the world, attracting students and scholars from Africa and the Middle East. At its peak, the university housed an estimated 700,000 manuscripts and could host 25,000 students. Timbuktu became a city of books, a beacon of knowledge at a time when much of Europe was still in the Dark Ages. Mansa Musa's reign is considered the golden age of the Mali Empire. He wasn't just a rich king, he was a visionary leader. He established strong diplomatic ties with other nations, sent ambassadors to Morocco and Egypt, and fostered an environment of peace and prosperity. He used his immense wealth not just for personal luxury, but for the betterment of his people and the advancement of his empire. He built mosques, libraries, and universities, leaving a legacy that went far beyond his incredible fortune. Mansa Musa ruled for about 25 years, passing away around 1337. His successors couldn't maintain the same level of stability and control, and over the next century, the great Mali Empire slowly began to decline. Internal conflicts and the rise of rival empires eventually led to its collapse, but the legacy of its greatest emperor endures. The story of Mansa Musa is more than just a tale of incredible riches. It's a reminder that a powerful and sophisticated civilization thrived in West Africa, a center of wealth, learning, and culture that rivaled any other in the world. It challenges our common perceptions of history and wealth. It shows us a ruler whose influence was felt across continents, not through conquest, but through an epic journey of faith and an astonishing display of generosity that literally broke the bank. His impact is still felt today. The architectural marvels he commissioned, like the Jingareba Mosque, still stand as testaments to his vision. The intellectual tradition he fostered in Timbuktu created a repository of knowledge that scholars are still studying. He proved that wealth could be a tool for cultural and intellectual development, not just an end in itself. So, the next time you hear a debate about the richest person in the world, you'll know the real answer. It's not a tech billionaire or an oil tycoon. It's a 14th century African emperor, a man of faith, a builder of cities, and a king whose generosity was so great, it crashed the world economy. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most incredible characters.